Hello guys, my name is Malik and this is Malik's Tech Lab. So today we're talking about the MANBA ONE controller and why I call this a pro controller. So from the get-go you can see you can configure the lights, the brightness, the effects, the vibration intensity. It has a 2.5-inch screen, makes use of USB-C, has Hall effect triggers, Hall effects, analog stick, and doesn't use clicky buttons, doesn't use membrane surface to touch the PCB itself, and also have additional buttons at the back. If I were to bring the PS5 controller now, they use membrane for the clicky buttons, which for example you can now find out that maybe one of your buttons becomes stuck, not popping back up, which maybe the membrane itself from the inner part might have cut off. The membrane is just like a transparent surface with a tiny head that makes contact with the PCB to register an input. It also use the membrane here. Why this is different? This is a special technology PS5 have made use of for our triggers, and also use a USB-C. Analog itself is still potentiometer analog, meaning we have it makes use of electricity actually. That's we have one metal making scrubbing or making contact with a graphite sheet. It can actually tear the graphite sheet when it does make enough contact wearing off that graphite sheet. Then when we now start having what we call stick drifts. Maybe you are not pressing anything, you are not moving the analog, but you find out that your character in the game is moving sideways on its own. Or maybe, say, for example, you find out that your analog is stuck in one end, maybe dust might have accumulated in the analog stick, going to the potentiometer and then causing that stick drift itself. The Xbox controller also makes use of membranes for our X, Y, A, B. It makes use of clicky buttons for our D-pad. The analogs are stick potentiometer, stick drift that is susceptible to stick drift, membranes, clicky buttons for our shoulder buttons, and then Hall effects triggers, which is actually good. Our Xbox 360 does not use Hall effects. It's actually smashing another membrane, which can also cause wear and tear analog, membrane face buttons, membrane stick. Same thing with our PS4 controller, membrane face buttons, membrane D-pad, potentiometer analog, membrane shoulder buttons, and as you can hear squeaking, it's also a membrane trigger. So but there are special controllers for the Xbox and the PS5, the Xbox Elite controller and the PS5 Pro or Edge controller that have those back buttons, and the PlayStation 5 is own special. You can change the analog sticks, but change the analog sticks, you are still adding the new potentiometer analog stick units. But there are new people or engineers you can give to, so I don't think that will warrant. Yeah, you won't be able to use your warranty anymore, but you have to give engineers that can able to install either TMR sticks or Hall effect sticks, which make use of magnets, meaning they are not making contact with the other parts of the objects, not like the potentiometer analogs that we have the metal itself in contact with graphite surface, but this is a magnet, two magnets not making contact with itself, telling us the x and y axis of the movements of our characters, for example, in our game. So if this was to move up, for example, without making contact, this will move up, and this other magnet will be able to register that this other magnet has moved up, so it also follow the same and able to register an input without actually making contact. That's why a Hall effect on TMR analogs will be able to last longer without even actually causing state drift in any way possible. That's why I say this is better without membranes also. And I say, since we're talking about PlayStation right now, the PlayStation app, let me just talk about my Xbox controller. Xbox controller is actually good for PCs, since it's Microsoft that make both controllers, so they both use X input controllers, while the PlayStation itself is PlayStation, not Microsoft, so and that means it's not Xbox. You have to use a special software just to be able to use this kind of controllers for your system, and those kind of special softwares make use of PS4 controllers mostly, and that software is called a DS for Windows. It emulates the Xbox 360. It's like an emulator for the Xbox 360 or Xbox controller itself. So you moving your PS4 controller using either cable or Bluetooth, your system will believe you are connected to what, an Xbox controller. So if you, for example, you leave that software open, it's actually using a certain thread or core on your system. It might be 0.5 percentage of that, 0.2 percentage, but it's actually making use of the core, so which can actually reduce the FPS of your game. Likewise, the PS5 controller. And the worst part about using the PS5 controller for a game, most games, like if it's a PlayStation release game, might actually work with the PS5 controller, but you might not even need a DS4 for Windows software, even for the PS4 controller itself. The only thing is that majority of the games are not PlayStation games, so meaning all those special trigger effects, rumble effects, you won't be able to make use of it in PC. But with this now, this either is a 2.4 hertz dongle, you use cable, you use Bluetooth, you'll be able to use this on your system as X input or whatever type of controller you want. This can actually still be used for your Xbox or PS5 using a special kind of dongle, which you have to buy either, if it's in Nigeria here, you're buying it to be 70,000 naira or 80,000 naira. Some of them be 100,000, 200, depending on what the vendor you are getting it from, which you're able to use this for the console of PS5 or PS or Xbox. Right now, this can actually still work for your PS4 controllers, PS4 consoles. That's what I believe. It can work for PS4 consoles, can work for PC, can work for Android TVs, iPhone, Android, and Nintendo Switch 1 or Switch 2. So you see why I say this is a pro controller. If you have any arguments or any contradictory to what I'm saying, or you have anything you can add, you can say so in my comments. Please always remember to like and subscribe to my channel for more information. Thank you.